Hey, what's up, gang? We're back with the Sweat Angel formula, and today we're joined again with Coach Mike T and Bonita, aka Bone, and we just got a couple things going on in the gym, and we want to get you guys up to date, and of course cut up a little bit, and as always, go over a couple pet peeves. So,
I love that.
So just recently, we had our first sweat and stretch class.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Saturday as part of our specialty program offering. It's the first of hopefully a couple extras. I know we're offering a boot camp now, and it was part of the boot camp, but several of our current members actually took up this class, and the feedback was really awesome. I know from you guys. What did you guys think about the class?
I struggled with it.
Personally.
Mike was going to die.
Was it the cardio or the stretching?
No, it was not the cardio. It was only the stretching.
He was like sweating. His shirt was off. I was like, what is happening over there?
It was a struggle. So
Yeah, I mean...
a good struggle, but...
Yeah, so, I mean, some of the stretches, so we did the Sweat Angel 6, which are... I put together 6 stretches that I felt were the most effective to hit every major muscle group in the body. You know, those will be the backbone to our stretching portion of the program. But we'll have some variety as we get deeper into this. We want some people to master some of the basic movements in terms of flexibility, and then we can add some variance to it. What stretch did you have the hardest time with, Bone? You don't have to know the name, but what were you doing?
I feel like I didn't struggle with any of them.
Okay, was it relaxing?
Not to be like, oh, I'm flexible, because I'm not, but I like the cardio part. Because usually when I stretch, I go into it and I'm like cold and it hurts and I hate it, so I stop.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, the point that Mike and I were making about the sweat and stretch, and the reason it's important is because we're actually taking about 25-30 minutes before the stretching portion to warm up the body. Core body temperature is up a couple degrees, no doubt. We're definitely very sweaty. The analogy we like to use is that piece of gum. If you take a piece of gum out of a wrapper, on a cold day, it's really hard to stretch it. It's not pliable, but if we can chew it a little bit, roll it around our hands, then it's very pliable. And it's a very similar occurrence, simplistically stated, with our muscles. So we can get a lot more done when we're warm. So I think, how'd you guys feel when you were done?
Like I wanted to take a nap, but then I had to work out.
Yeah, so we have a CrossFit class right after it, and it was probably the worst possible type of CrossFit class to do both if you're going to do back-to-back. I wouldn't recommend both every day because one was a really heavy deadlift and a sandbag carry, which after that sort of stretching and that cardio work, your nervous system is not ready to stay tight and pick those things up. But a couple of the participants stuck with it. Did you guys go a little bit lighter than you thought you might go?
No, I saw stars. You guys like to tell me I dropped the D-ball in the rain.
We had to do a sandbag run outside, and these nice rogue sandbags, and we had this little coned area, and the idea was that we even put a carpet out so that people could wipe their feet and it wasn't too wet when they came in.
You've got to have known that somebody was going to drop it outside.
Bone would drop it at the third cone.
Would it be one of the coaches?
I was setting the example.
So these bags are made out of like canvas. Like it was like a soaking wet by the time they got in here, and it wasn't sweat.
I just wanted people to know it's okay to drop it. Like if I did it, other people would be like, oh, I can drop it.
Yeah. Did anyone else drop it?
No. No, the whole time I'm like, damn, somebody dropped this fucking ball.
So when you dropped it, you saw me look at you.
Yeah, and I felt your stare. And in my head, I was like, don't fucking say anything to me.
I didn't say anything. She already knew. I didn't have to say anything. And yeah, because that's one of the things. They're dropping naked barbells on the ground. There's some moving parts in there. Dropping dumbbells like the mic. That's always a no-no.
The deadlift was so heavy. My back hurt so bad.
There's
and my shoulder. And can I explain myself?
Hold on. All right, yeah.
The D-ball, I could not switch shoulders. I could not put it on this shoulder because I can't reach back and like grab the ball. So when I put it on my right, I was like this, and I was like leaning forward. My back was on fire. Like I just couldn't do it, and so I had to do all the ones on my left, and my shit was on fire.
I got you. All right. No one else dropped it.
All right, whatever.
Well, I guess we're going to add a new one to the list is don't drop D-balls outside, especially when it's in the rain.
They dried.
They
can dry.
I feel like you intentionally dropped it in all the puddles, too.
It's like a giant
The third
splash.
cone is the only one that had a puddle, and I would literally go...
I'm not going to lie, the third cone was a bitch. To make that last turn,
Thank you.
it was... But,
I only dropped it during like 3 rounds. There was a lot of rounds.
The rounds when I wasn't outside watching. Where is he? So anyhow, so to do a heavier style workout after a sweat and stretch workout, isn't ideal. But if you guys, want to go back to back, it's totally available to our members here. If you're not a member, you can also come in and join the group. So it's actually a really good way, right, to maybe start if you are not familiar with exercise, or you're just out of shape and you just are worried about, hurting yourself when you first start or getting that base. You guys agree it would be a great way to maybe start, like a couple weeks of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a cardiovascular portion. So we ran on the air runner. We did some ski ergs.
We did box
step up, some planks.
Ugh.
And the rower. So
that was the worst part.
Just the single arm planks.
Or the step up?
The planks.
The planks.
Did you bleed on the rower?
Why do you always shit on me?
No, the
Nobody
boat
else bleeds on the rower.
No, it has the softest handle.
No. First
And
off,
bone
we
rips
rode
on-
for so long.
4 minutes.
I've never spent more than like a half hour on a rower.
What was
ever.
that one workout we did where I ripped? It was a long
That was
one.
2,000 meters.
But like,
That's not
you're
it.
not helping me.
It
10
was.
minutes? It takes 10 minutes.
Yeah. Is that the one?
I don't know. I have sensitive hands. And I ripped and bled. Like, they really did bleed.
All right. Well, it's
I'm
so
just sensitive.
so we have to wear wraps. Do you wear wraps when you're on the rower?
No, I don't think anything that's serious to have extra.
You don't
things
have
on me.
wraps.
No, because I don't take anything that's serious.
So you've never owned gymnastic wraps at all?
No, because I was a
Would-
horrible gymnast.
There's too much history behind it.
And I just, like, I feel like people who put on, like, wraps and other things are, like, they're taking it so serious.
I
and
like
I
to
just
not
can't.
rip my hands when I work out, so
If I rip, I rip. If I don't, I don't. I don't care.
I'm
If
not
he
in that
dies,
boat.
he dies. It's an Ivan Drago reference.
I mean, like, I'll put on a belt and stuff, but, like,
Like a
I'm not
like
gonna
a
buy it.
wrestling belt, like the WWE
I
champion.
do
or
have
like...
I do have a replica belt signed by Charlotte Flair.
Man.
And,
We're
no, not
going
that
down the
belt.
wrestling route again. So anyhow, so we how did we get on the ripping of the hands? Oh, the rowing. So anyhow, we were on the so the sweat and stretch anyhow offering every Saturday at 8 a.m. It lasts just about an hour, and it's from 8 to 9 a.m. And it's open to our members and any members that would like to, other people that aren't our members that like to drop in. So
I think it's good for. I was working with somebody, and she's just like constantly like type A, like can't relax ever, and it was good to help you relax. And you felt like taking a nap after and everything like that. So
yeah.
the stretching's good and all that, but it'll also help you like calm down and kind of reset your body. And everything.
Yeah, you're nervous. So you have like two parts of your nervous system, so to speak. You have a sympathetic nervous system, which is like your fight or flight. The response is very it's exciting. All right, so your system sort of amps itself up. It's sort of what we do all day. We're driving to work, rushing. We're at work, trying to meet deadlines. We're rushing to the gym. We're working out. So the way to sort of reset and get into a recovery state would be stimulating your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest nervous system, which is kind of reboots the system, gets you into a state where you are not excited any longer. With that excitement, it's hard to, you're just eating away, you're just burning energy, and we have to get to a point where we're actually reversing that. And this type of like light cardio before with this breath driven sort of stretching at the end really stimulates that rest and digest parasympathetic nervous system that we're trying to really tap into. That's why it was so hard to really hit a workout right afterwards, because you were in the opposite state of mind. So just keep that in mind if you plan on doing both. Anyhow, so the other thing on the docket is we have coming up is our summer shred program.
Just burped.
I didn't smell it. It's fine.
But I was holding it in my mouth.
No one would have known. You didn't know that to say it. Is our summer shred program. We did the muscle gain challenge program a couple months ago, and it was very successful. A lot of people liked it. They were asking for more programs. So we have another bodybuilding driven program called the summer shred program coming out here at the end of this month. And April 29th it'll start. It'll involve an in-body at the beginning and at the end. It'll have a 5-week bodybuilding style program that will be designed for shedding body fat and shredding up for the summer. And it'll have a little bit of sort of like a heart rate component to it, where you guys can actually stay in that fat burning zone a little bit longer. It's a pretty unique program. I know Bone and Mike looked at it and it looks pretty interesting. It's a couple days a week, and so we'll have more information to come on that for those of you who are interested. Sarah and Tiffany, if you guys are watching this, yes, who've asked a million times.
Sarah, some protein powder.
On
the shelf right there.
Oh no, we'll get to the pet peeves. No, we'll wait on those. But what do you guys think about the summer shred program? Do you think it's a good time to do it, like right before the summer, or do you think a lot of people are engaging in other activities? Think people are gonna like be amped up to do it the last 5 weeks of the spring?
Yeah, I think people need to get ready to look good for the summertime. You can't start anything in the summer because then summer's gonna be over. Yeah,
I agree. So I don't know. I think it'll be a good complement to our regular group training / CrossFit program. So moving on I'd like to just make one comment here just about a Netflix thing that I tried to watch last night. Have you guys seen Generation Iron, any of them?
Yeah.
Have you seen one? The first one I think is about Phil Heath and Kai Green. And
Kai Green, the one with the...
Yeah, he's...
I saw that one.
Then there was part 2, and there was a couple other guys. I can't remember who was in that.
The part 2 is more about like
Instagram and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's more about social media, like fitness, like personalities and stuff like that. Less about like actual bodybuilders.
Right.
I didn't watch that one. I watched the first one.
So if you barely made it through part 2, and you're having trouble sleeping, you might want to go to part 3, which is Generation Iron 3, which will put you directly to sleep, like it did me. And it's about bodybuilders talking about not really much bodybuilding. So it was fringe athletes. Maybe I'm just not watching.
Fringe athletes?
I don't know. There's just these bodybuilders who I just don't know their names anymore.
Are they like up and comers or like
they're like physique guys. There's physique and there's females and males and
I couldn't watch it.
Did you watch 3?
I tried to.
Yeah, it was about going to like Africa and Asia, and like they're just trying to get these emerging markets. Anyways, so if you're gonna watch it, just keep in mind it's not gonna be about a guy pounding out drop sets on triceps. Yeah, I don't know. I like.
Well, it's more about
I like to watch people getting it,
really,
like in the gym. I mean, I don't know why that's interesting, but you're right.
It was more about their lives and stuff. I like the first one better.
First one was way better. It was.
Because they were actual bodybuilders, professional.
Yeah, I feel like these guys were like, I went to school and somebody told me I had good abs. I'm the guy that always used to lift my shirt up in school. So someone was like, you should be a bodybuilder. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But then I just didn't know these people. So it was.
What's the other one? Because I watched that one because it came up on after the one about what's his name? The powerlifters, the brothers. And his one brother died. He wanted to be a wrestler.
Mark Bell. Yeah.
I really like theirs.
Chris Bell, I believe is his brother's name. Yeah, bigger,
and then
faster,
they did
stronger.
the one about prescription.
No, Chris Bell's still alive, I think.
Chris Bell, and they had a brother who's a wrestler.
Mark Bell is.
He's
still
like a journeyman wrestler.
But I think Chris Bell's still alive too. I think he's a videographer.
He's the one that does it.
Right.
And then
Mark Bell's the one that.
Oh shit! What's his brother's name?
Has Slingshot. He sells those.
Yeah. Well, what was their brother's name?
The one who died.
I can't remember.
He was. They were big wrestling. Bonelove. They were big wrestling fans early on. So. He was a professional wrestler, but he was obviously like many wrestlers. He was.
They have a huge Ultimate Warrior. What's it called?
Like a shrine?
No, like a painting in the gym with his his famous quote.
In Mark's gym, that was his documentaries are great, and they were talking about
really good ones.
They were talking about performance enhancing drugs and bigger, faster, stronger. If you guys haven't seen that, it's a really interesting one to watch.
Faster, stronger, that's what it is.
And then the second one was about prescription drugs.
Yeah, it was about prescription.
Because I think it had a lot to do with his brother, who was a wrestler, who was he had a lot of problems like a lot of wrestlers do, and he was hooked on those, and it led to his death. But I think they're always working on something. That's that.
Yeah, he's got a good podcast too.
Yeah, his podcast is real good. So that one, but Generation Iron was no pumping iron like Arnolds from the 70s. There was this was the part 3 was a strong reach. You know what I mean? So the first one was decent, second one was going down, third one was a little.
I don't remember the second one.
I don't know.
I remember trying to watch the third one, but I did not care about the physique guys. I'm like,
they were talking about them board shorts. How some of them don't have to train legs at all. they don't have to worry about their legs growing. And if they want to train legs, they can. If they don't, they're not judged on their legs. They're wearing board shorts. And like they had some old bodybuilders like, like King Kamali was one of them, and he was like, he said, "Oh man, I can't even." He was so disgusted by like physique guys, and then there's classic physique, which is like in between like the board short guys and the bodybuilders are like.
Which I like classic physique because bodybuilding now, like Arnold made a good point. He was like, "Hey, you're supposed to when you're judging, you're supposed to pick the athlete that you would want to be like."
Right.
Nobody wants to have
30-inch
arms. Like you can't even wipe your ass. Like give me a break. Like that's not. I mean, it's cool, sure, but it's not.
Well, a lot of people think it's a big level of insecurity that people have, that this is why they get that big. I mean, it's, or this is, I don't know, like there's a ton of psychology that goes behind it. It's just like,
And classic physique's like a step back from that. Like they're still big.
And they don't wear the banana hammocks, they wear the trunks.
Well, I don't even care about that. I'm just like, they're not, they can wipe their own ass, which is the most important.
Right.
They're functionally humans.
And then there's a step back from that even, which is the physique, the board guys in the swim trunks, the board shorts that go down to their knees. And even they said that in the last maybe 8 or 10 years since it's been around has changed. They were a lot smoother, like Abercrombie models, like in terms of their definition 8 or 10 years ago. And then they've transitioned now to like even more ripped, the board short guys, and then the physique guys, the classic physique guys that are just a step below the big, like 300-pound bodybuilders. They are just like they're pushing the envelope too. So everything's sort of shifting. If you're into bodybuilding, some of that stuff's interesting. The Generation Iron stuff, and the Bigger, Faster, Stronger. There's a lot of good documentaries out there too. But there's some on Netflix. But if you're just dabbling with bodybuilding, I think it's a good thing to maybe watch, just sort of see the level of commitment that's involved in that. I mean, half the documentary is just watching people weigh and measure and cook food, So
what's the one with the guy who had heart surgery, and he's very famous, but I can't think
Rich
of his
Piana?
name.
No,
Rich Piana just
no.
Oh, it was a guy from Compton.
Yeah. And
CT Fletcher.
CT
Fletcher. Did you see Jason Khalifa? He went out to his gym just recently and did like arms with him.
I didn't see
it was pretty cool. Yeah, Jason's, if you guys...
Steve Fletcher's fucking crazy, though.
Yeah, well, he opened it was like about him like coming back and opening his own gym, and
he's about 60 now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had the
training
world
other people.
He had the world record curl. I think it was a
Yes.
225-pound curl. He had to have his back against the wall. And it looked legit. And he said he was always a natural guy, or did he? No, he did one cycle of steroids. He said he claimed.
He said he was natural. He wasn't natural.
But he's a no-nonsense dude. He doesn't take any bullshit. He's
open heart surgery or something.
He's had like 3 of them, I think.
Yeah.
So, but I guess he's listed as he's in the Generation Iron 3 too. They interview him. He's a motivational speaker.
Yeah,
but
that's why I watched
if you ever heard him talk, man, he'll get you hyped. So,
when he's training people in the documentary, I'm like, oh god.
Yeah.
I would cry after every every single one.
If you haven't seen them on Jason Khalifa yet, there's a YouTube video out, and it's he's CT Fletcher's training him at his gym. Jason, who owns all the NC Fits, the CrossFit gyms, he's a former CrossFit Games champion. He goes and just keeps an open mind and works out with him, and he does like one set, and he was like it was like 100 reps, and he was like, all right, now we're warm. He was like, what? So yeah, it was pretty funny. And Jason is an upbeat sort of dude, so that one's a fun one to watch. Have you guys seen any of the videos on the brute strength where the girls did they have 4 different girls?
Yeah,
they
it
have
was Maddie
CrossFit,
Rogers, Brooke Ence, it was Dana Lynn Bailey,
and Maddie, I forget her last name, but she's a power lifter.
So they had a power lifter, a CrossFitter.
Her name was Maddie too. Yeah.
Is Maddie also?
They always do a power lifter, a CrossFit athlete, a bodybuilder, or physique, doesn't matter. Olympic lifter.
Right. And then they all had to compete in their specialties.
And then in something different. Like it's more like track and field. Yeah. They even had an eating contest. They'd eat watermelon.
So who won?
Brooke Ence.
Oh, Brooke Ence.
Yeah, the CrossFit athlete.
The CrossFit was the most well-rounded.
The men's, the Olympic weightlifter, I forget his name, like Louise or something. He doesn't speak English, so.
He's from like Venezuela or something.
Yeah.
So he won that one?
He won that one.
I think
he was really good at the track and field stuff because have so much like power and
right.
stuff.
Is that one was done? The men's was done first, and the women's was done second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the men's was so popular that they.
Yeah, the
did
women's, the
women's
production
one.
value on the second one was super awesome. That was a good one to watch. So that was brute strength, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. If you haven't seen that, and that'll sort of give maybe a lot of our like members or viewers or listeners an idea of maybe what we do, why what we do in here is important, because we're not, we're trying to remain strong, which all these women obviously were, but we're also trying to remain well-rounded. So, I mean, I think that lends itself to a lifetime of fitness and health versus maybe specializing in one thing for a short period of time that, we've all done it. It might beat up your body in a certain way. But anyhow, so, those are some of the things I've seen recently that I really enjoyed. Is there anything you guys have had an eye on lately that you guys have...
No, that was the one I was watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
It was coming out every week. Why are you laughing?
I've been watching a lot of golf. So.
Yeah, that's so. Mike just took up golf a couple months ago, and this is the best. This is the
best time of the year. Tiger's just won the Masters again. And
watching the Masters,
God,
my wife will tell
I'm
you.
gonna walk away from this.
So this is like listening to wrestling. You got to hear it. Give me 30 seconds, guys. Watching the Masters is just, I don't know, is more fun to me than watching the Super Bowl. It's the most beautiful course on the planet.
So they were talking about it. They said the 5th hole and the 18th hole, they changed something on it, and it looks like it's been like that for 100 years. Like, they do such a good job, of growing everything and
they put another
everything.
tier on the green on the 18th.
I don't remember what it was, but they said they changed something, really drastic, but it looks like it's always been like that, since they built the course originally, which is crazy to think about, that they can, do something like that.
Yeah, that course in Augusta is incredible. So I don't think I'll ever have a chance to play on it. But Mike's working at golf really hard right now. Maybe he'll someday qualify. No, probably not. I don't think so either. But no offense to you, buddy. But he shot a 105 for the first time. He's close to breaking 100. That's not bad for less than 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm going to sleep.
And normal was 125. So
125. I said normally you hit 105 every time you play, but you're on the 12th hole. Anyhow, so Mike's watching a lot of golf. I thought you were going to say The Office, by the way.
Oh, of course. Sprinkle that in.
Yeah, so Mike does not own... Do you have a TV?
I have internet. I don't have cable.
That's like a thing now. I guess I'm old, so I have cable still.
I'm a millennial. So
We have cable, but we only have certain channels. Like, I told my mom, if she gets rid of cable, I'm gonna cry.
So
I have to watch Monday Night Raw.
Wrestling's on, yeah.
So just internet's $40, and then if you want cable and internet, it's $80.
Then why is my bill
But
$200 and something?
Because you're in a contract and all. So I pay $40 a month no matter what. I'm not in a contract. I'm not I can cancel whenever I want. There's nothing that I have to actually.
We don't get the channels you get, the 300. I don't get HBO or any the 300 channels.
Oh yeah, I get.
Those.
Yeah, we have. I guess if you get one, it's cheaper. But if you get 2 or more, they bundle it, and it's just a flat rate for all of them.
So the other thing is, if you do the math, I subscribe to the golf channel, but I can watch it online, and it costs me $50 for the year. If you break that down, it's still cheaper to do that than it is to get cable.
But there's nothing else you really... If there was a couple things on cable, then you would just get cable.
Yeah, I have Netflix, I have Hulu, and Golf Channel, and all that all together with the price of the internet, it's still cheaper than getting cable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how my wife would be able to watch Don't Be Tardy if we only had the internet.
Well,
I'm sure there's
all shows have apps, like the CW. Yeah. If you miss a show,
you can watch
the next day it's on the app.
So you can't watch it. So live sucks.
Put the app on your TV. Right. Live doesn't suck, but
But you can't get live if you
don't have to pay for it.
Unless you're watching something like Game of Thrones that somebody's going to talk about, it doesn't actually matter.
But you don't need cable to watch Game of Thrones. Yeah. They stream it live on the app. I'm saying you just get the app.
You don't even need cable.
You don't need cable for anything except for wrestling.
No, it's you
can't watch wrestling online.
No, Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. No.
WWE's losing money. Just saying.
I'm sure they'll adapt at some point.
I'm sure they don't care.
But anyhow, so all right. Well, those we're at the final portion of our show here. I guess our podcast. We talk about our pet peeves. And I know there's one. And we're not gonna make this last another 20 minutes, but we're gonna talk about a couple pet peeves, and I think we're gonna let Bone start right here. We're just looking right across.
I've already talked about this one. People pour their protein shakes in here. They leave all the powder on the table and then just walk away.
Just walk away.
And there's literally a ring. I can see it was her shaker cup just sitting right there.
We're not going to say any names.
It's a female.
We're not going to say any names.
Sarah Lasher. No. It's right above her cubby.
Oh, her
and
cubby.
I watched her do it.
Here's my pet peeve: is the cubbies.
There's a sign to people.
That
just
people
pick one.
tie their shoes. They put their foot in the cubby, and listen,
Yes, and
these,
him.
and listen, they're just regular like Target, Walmart cubbies, and they're affixed in there with these little metal like dowels, and people decide. Probably the fittest people that I know are in this gym, that I associate with. And they have to lift their foot up to tie their shoe, and they always put it in the cubby, and it's like the Karate Kid, man. They're just busting boards, just knocking cubbies out, and they're just snap, snap, snap.
Or if you're
So we have.
Lola and you sit in one.
Did Lola break one?
Yeah, she crawled into one.
And it broke?
Yes.
My 26-pound daughter broke one. So people that put their feet up to tie their shoes in the cubbies, and they're popping out cubbies, and they're always fun to fix. They are not good ladders. Mike, you got any good pet peeves? None today?
None today. You know what happens?
None in real life.
We finish, right? And then I come up with like 20 pet peeves.
And then we forget
them.
We fume in the car. Like,
just get pissed for no reason.
So, that's why exercise is important, is to let out that frustration. So, thank God we work in the gym. We get to wear sweatpants to work and make fun of people sometimes. So anyhow, that's our show for today. If you guys have anything you want us to talk about, or if you have any pet peeves of your own, just comment, like, share, whatever, and we'll catch you guys